In continuing with introducing Bun deities and Bun figurative subjects, we'll continue with a figure called Purba Drugse Chempa. And this is a relatively early meditational deity of the Bun tradition. I can't give you a date as to the earliest texts at this time because I'm not really sure whether or not they come from Shenchen Luga in the very early 11th century, or whether or not they're a later product of a different treasure revealer. But the Purba Drugse Chempa is very interesting because it's very easily confused with the tantric Buddhist deity Vajrakila, because both are related to this kila, or in Tibetan purba, which is a peg or a stake. Often in the West, it's just described as some kind of dagger or tantric dagger. It's not a dagger at all. It's a stake that stakes something down to the ground or to a wall. It pins something in place, and usually it's obstacles, or it's the ego, or it's hindrances, or of some kind. So the main form of Purba Drugse Chempa is he is wrathful in appearance, male, 3 faces, 6 arms, and then his lower torso is that of the Purba. Now I say Purba because we're talking about the Bun religion, and the Bun religion is based in Tibetan and Shangshung language, and not in Sanskrit. The word Kila is a Sanskrit word, and that's the origins for the Tantric Buddhist stake. The form is very similar to some of the retinue figures in the mandala of the Buddhist deity Vajrakila. But regardless, so in each of the hands, he has 6 arms, 6 hands. The first pair of hands roll a purba, a peg, at the heart, and then the other 2 right hands and 2 left hands extending to the sides also hold a purba. They hold a stake as well. Now, there are variations to this. We can find some forms of the deity where they are holding other attributes in the outstretched right and left hands. I don't know if they have separate names and separate ritual texts. I'm just not aware of that at this time. Now, what are the main characteristics? Well, the main characteristics are the wrathful appearance, the holding of the peg lower torso, and then a pair of unfurled, outstretched wings behind. And these are the wings of the kyung bird. The kyung is the main bird of the Bun religion. It has its early origins in the life story of Tongpa Shenrap, where this kyung bird is sort of a Himalayan eagle, a very, very large bird. Himalayan eagle, and it was a protector deity, a protector figure for the founder of the Bun religion, Tongpa Shenrap, when he was a young boy. And so that's where this kyung bird originates. There's a tremendous amount of confusion between Bun and Buddhism, where people will refer to this bird in the Bun religion as the Garuda bird, but no, it has completely different origins. It's completely different stories, different origins, different function, different meaning. So they're not the same in their early literature. Later literature, of course, we can have variations on that. Now, also, this Purba Drugse Chempa has 3 main traditions. One is a Shangshung tradition, one is a Bhutan tradition, and one is regarded as a Gyagar tradition, so an Indian tradition. So the Bun religion believes that there was Bun at some time in the distant past, which also existed in northern India. So that's called the Indian tradition of the Purba. Then there's the Bhutanese tradition, or Drukyul, and then there's the Shangshung, which is extreme West Tibet. So there's 3 separate traditions and slightly different commentaries for this Purba Drugse Chempa. But he's also included within a larger group of deities which are called the 5 excellent ones of the Sei fortress, or the Sei Dzong. It's It's a group of the five. We might say they're the most prominent or more important, but actually there's several that are not included. But anyway, this is an important grouping of the five excellent ones of the Say fortress. What's also interesting is that the retinue figures for Purba Drugse Chempa, they all have unfurled, outstretched wings as well. So it is interesting that this Bun deity can be counted as one of the earlier forms of deities with wings from the Tibetan and Himalayan regions, although without knowing what the earliest dated text is, then we can't say whether or not it's in alignment with the 12th century and the real development of Nyingma, revealed treasure, or whether it was earlier. So we'll leave it there. You can press subscribe, you can press like, you can join Har on Patreon, and you can also make a donation on the homepage of Himalayan Art Resources.